Izuchukwu is a Victor Seven, Ademola Lukman, Kelechi and Acho, Talent, Simon Moses, Sadiq Umar,
Talent is
Welcome to another episode of this wonderful production, Only Football, brought to you by Paul Sports and sponsored by absolutely no one. My name is Tunde Young, surrounded by four of my nearest and dearest, Joba Ogunwale, Ayoola Kelechi, Faruq and Izu. And yeah, episode 4, we made it.
Woo! Clap it up.
I personally had us cancelled by now. but my tickets usually do spoil. So I think that was not surprising. But hey, welcome to the show. We have a packed show for you as always. A lot happened in the world of football since you last saw us last week. So we're talking about Eric Chelle's first Super Eagles list. 38-man provisional. 39. Sorry, I mentally removed that, Musa. 39-man provisional list, Eric Chelle. First of all, we'll debate the whole point of a provisional list because I don't see a point. We'll get to it. Victor Ikpeba made some very strong statements about his era and, how nobody in this generation could have played in this era. We'll get to that. We're talking about the UEFA Champions League as well. Not for us in the FA Cup or winning the top 4. We'll get to that. The injury time segment, fun facts, and even the FIFA World Cup potentially having an halftime show. So it's a packed show. And of course, we've met the guys, so let's just get right into it, baby. Only Football. Ayoola.
Yeah. I'm guessing Eric Chelle's.
I was going to start with Ayoola, but then I looked at him and he's just not Nigerian enough.
I think the man has two Nigerians.
Even though he has two
separate tribes.
I deem you not Nigerian enough. He's Nigerian football, and he's also dressed
in green white jersey.
Yeah, dressed in Super Eagles jersey. But let me quickly run through the list. 39 men, bro.
Like, want to run through?
Do we have time for that?
We'll just show you. We know who. I'm sorry, just Google it or something.
Let's help our people. 5 goalkeepers: Stanley Wabali, Maduka Okoye, Amaso Basoge, Adeleye Adebayo, and Kyle Bankole. Defenders are William Trustekong, Bright Osai, Samuel, Bruno Yemashi, Gabriel Osho, Calvin Bassey Olaoluwa, Aina, Zaidu Sanusi, Igbo, Jordan Torunariga, and Ifeanyi Onyebuchi. 2 debutants, if I'm not mistaken. Wilfred Ndidi in midfield, Raphael Onyedika, Alassane Yusuf, as usual, Fisaya Dele Bashiru, Frank the Tank Onyeka, Alex Iwobi, Joseph Aribo, Anthony Dennis. Chrysanthus Uche making his debut. Papa Daniel Mustafa complete the midfielders. And the forwards first are definitely listed. Samuel Chukwueze.
Will you ever leave Chrysanthus?
No, I would not. Samuel Chukwueze, Victor Seven, Ademola Lukman, Kelechi and Acho, Talent, Simon Moses, Sadiq Umar,
Talent
don't have talent. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's a bad thing to say. But like if he does not have that,
do you know Victor Boniface led by Leverkusen to Bundesliga?
Simon Moses, Sadiq Umar, Nathan Taylor, Cyril Desas, Tolu Arokodare, Chidera Ejuke, Paul Onuachu, Ahmed Musa, and Ako Adams. 39 of Nigeria's best and brightest, if I'm not mistaken. I was first of all, Izu, in my opinion, as a decade-long journalist, the whole point of provisional squad is, you are undecided on the exact amount of players you want, and you want to evaluate them. So you want to see them all in a group. Except something has changed. That is not happening for this Eric Chelle call-up, is it? So he's still just going to reduce this list to 25 when the time comes. 23. So why not just release 23? It's not like you're going to get all 39 in camp.
Yeah, I think the reason I want to believe is if you notice how players get injured these days, I think he's trying to play it safe such that invitations do not go late just when somebody between now and that time, because it's possible that between now and when we play Rwanda and Zimbabwe that one or two players, we don't pray for that, but it's possible. And most of these European clubs, they don't really rate African nations and competitions and all that. So they could tell you that invitation came late. They cannot release, and there's nothing you can do. I think to play
just
safe,
invite everybody.
Just invite those you feel you want, so that if in the event that something happens and you need somebody to replace, it makes it easier for you to follow.
All right, so let's talk about the elephant in Kano. Is Ahmed Musa supposed to be on this list?
Why is the captain the first person you are pointing out to? There are several names on that list, and the captain of the Super Eagles is the first name you are pointing out.
All right, so Faruq, who are the people on this list that should not be there? Since you've taken us there, let's go.
I mean, why is Zako Adams on the list?
Interesting.
He has not even settled in Sevilla. Why is he on the list?
Had a very good first half of the season for Montpellier.
And also, it's a 39-man list. It's obvious that he's trying to include as many people as possible.
I'm accepting that.
Including
my
people
entire
that...
point is that why is it Ahmed Musa is attacking first? The captain of the Super Eagles.
We have moved on from that. And you said several names, but I asked you for the several names now.
I just mentioned one now, and he's trying to counter it and saying that he's a provisionalist. Okay, he's a provisionalist.
All right.
Let Musa be there too.
For last I checked, several means more than one. So what other names should be on this list? I
don't think we should have called Paulo Nacho, since he's calling Toluaro Kodari. It's either one or both of them offer the same thing. So take one and drop one.
Except
exactly one of them.
That's why I mentioned Onuachu. So
all right, let me go to someone that I'm sure knows what he's talking about.
That's so mean.
Joba Ogunwale. Joba, please save me from Joba, your reaction to
save you from
this list.
Okay, so two things first. I think Eric Chelle called up 37 or 39 players to satisfy everyone. I mean, I think that's...
I'm not satisfied.
I think that's the motive. I don't know if he achieved the motive because, again, you can't... lists are always subjective and all that. So I understand why he called up 39 players. And I think you can also predict players that will get dropped eventually when the list is reduced to 23 next week. One thing I'll just say is that I think I have a problem with Musa, Alassane Yusuf, and Zaidou Sanusi.
Izuchukwu is also on your
Okay, Joba, why is your issue with those three people in particular? Ahmed Musa, Alassane Yusuf, and Zaidou Sanusi. Why?
I will.
Chukwueze.
So yeah, no. I have a problem with.
He doesn't have
problem with
Chukwueze.
I mean, it's not like we have a bundle of talents like that can replace Chukwueze. The problem I have with Musa is that it wouldn't have been an issue if Musa was maybe like a left back, a midfielder or something like that.
Zaidou Sanusi is literally a left back.
No. We are quite stuck.
Yeah, in attack.
In attack, you understand? Mm-hmm. So if you're calling up Musa and if you eventually gets called up for the 23-man squad, it means that you're going to leave out someone who is on form. Mm-hmm. Maybe someone like Cyril Dessers and all that. And I always believe, and because Musa is not really going to do anything, he's just going to come in the sit on the bench. So I always believe and we've seen Musa, we've tried Musa, he has paid his due. Legend, you understand? But let's move on from Ahmed Musa and let's start rewarding people who actually deserve this. As for the other two guys, Alassane Yusuf and I've seen Alassane Yusuf play. He doesn't offer anything different. I think Chris Santos Uche is got a well-deserved call-up. Rafael Onyedika offers a lot also. And Alassane Yusuf plays in the MLS with New England Revolution. He has played just 2 games. So I don't think he's better than the midfielders. Even Joe Aribo, I'm happy that he's back in the squad. For Zaidou Sanusi, I think the reason why Zaidou Sanusi was called up is because we are short of options in the left back role. in the left back row, but I would have maybe go in the direction of NPFL bringing a left back from the NPFL because Zaidou Sanusi has played just 2 games this season for FC Porto. So I mean, what's the point? Ola Aina can play as a left back or right back. Bruno Yemachi obviously is there. So I think probably maybe it's just to satisfy people from certain region.
All right, that's okay. I know it's hard to react to this when you don't know who is going to get caught. I mean, 16 names are going to eventually get caught from this. But so far, how you see this list?
I think it's a pretty good list. I think, like Joba said, he's trying to pack in as many people as possible so that so many people don't feel perhaps left out at the very start of his reign.
Should that be your priority?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is at the end of the day because it's also a mental thing. Football is not just played with the legs, it's also played with the head. And we look at Manchester United and people are saying, what's his name? Ruben Amorim should have told players that...
your players' names.
I believe that they do because that might even be what's wrong with them. So I feel like as a player or as a manager rather, you have to start off in a good rapport with the players that you have. And this being his first list, he has to put as many people there as possible. Because on episode 2, I know we mentioned a lot of players that we said, oh, we don't want to see this person here and we must see this person. And somehow he managed to both disappoint us by bringing the people that we don't want and also satisfy us by bringing the people that we did mention, likes of Uchi, likes of Varukutari, likes of Dessers as well on the list. So it's hard for anybody to say, this person is missing from the list. Like you said, it's 39 of... It's 39 of Nigeria's
Yeah, look.
Someone is missing.
Who is missing?
I think it's shocking that at this point, before I say his name, I think we need to say this, that it has nothing to do with football. At this stage, I want to say that it has nothing to do with football. So maybe the NFF can come out and tell us his crime. Because even if we assume that he said no to Nigeria at a very young age, by 23, he said he switched and gave his heart out. And then now...
Mr. Chuba Akpom.
Akpom has been one of Nigeria's most consistent the last 3-4 seasons.
Actually, he has been
and it
really
reinforces my point.
Even now in France, he's still playing well. It reinforces my point. And he has been ignored again. Why?
What's the point that
with Ahmed Musa, I mean, if you're calling up Ahmed Musa, you're leaving someone out who is performing better, and that's someone like Akpom.
Again, we understand tokenism, except when it's talking about people we don't like. You said they should call a left back from NPFL. Somebody we know would not play.
No, but he can't play though.
Wait, now hold on.
It's an option. That's literally what it was saying. That won't be an option.
We do understand
so we should
that.
Get a left back
which left back from NPFL are you going to bring into the team that is going to bring add like a market level of quality to the squad?
It's not about even adding a market level of quality. Okay. It's about actually being an option. Sure. Because at this point, we can't really say, I mean, Musa is a real option.
Games.
Yeah, so he's not...
Talking about each other.
My stance is that, there are only a set number of players that would play in that forward line. Mm-hmm. You are saying that bring this one, bring that one. We know that the starting centre forward is going to be Victor Osimhen, and it's probably going to be flanked by Lookman and either Moses Simon or Chukwueze. Mm-hmm. And if we are deciding to play with 2 up front, it's going to be Lookman and Osimhen. And then there's Boniface coming on and say let one other centre forward in maybe Tolu or Omar Sadiq. That is enough starting quality centre forward option. We are not saying that Musa is coming to add any footballing quality to the squad. It is clear that the dressing room respects this person. When Ekong was, someone named Ekong as the Super Eagles captain last year, and he ensured to reinforce that Musa is still the captain. It shows that the dressing room respects him. So it is clear that this guy is being brought to for team chemistry.
Faruq, I have a question for you. My own is now, you have made your point about Ahmed Musa being important for team dynamics and, moral support. Mm-hmm. Do you have to be on the squad list to be close to the team?
What would you tell Kano pillars that you are taking him out of the
Musa, let me quote Tosin on the Crossfire episode. And he said that I quote, Musa has literally left Canopilas this season to go meet the Saudi Arabia consulate. He has left Canopilas matches to go and do things. There's a reason he's only playing 17 MPFL games because he did come out whenever he want to come out.
I mean, he has to be the squad. He has to be in the squad for him to be the captain. Like, if he's not in the squad, he's not the captain, then he's just a delegate.
Okay, please,
Yeah,
Faruq.
but he could also be a leader.
I respect you also. Check me. you are really trying. He's not going
I mean,
to attack.
to be
but you're
honest,
trying.
Farouk, we saw this with someone like Kanu in 2013. He wasn't on the squad list, but he was part of motivating them. When they lifted the trophy, he was among the people that were on the pitch, and you know. So why can't Ahmed Musa?
Why can't Ahmed Musa play
thing?
that role? Anyway, see, Izu, I don't even have a different question for you right now.
Yeah.
Because it's good that someone we're talking about the MPFL side of things. So, and one of my least favorite part of Super Eagles list is always the
MPFL.
I don't like tagging people MPFL journalists, but the MPFL journalists always crying about who should have made it and who should not have made it. So, as an MPFL journalist yourself, that's not even an insult. Just what it is.
He's a specialist in the NBA.
I'm listening to you.
Proud
I'm listening
MPFL
to you.
journalist. Are you
Very proud.
Are you satisfied with the level of representation in this 39 squad list, even though we know none of them will make it?
Okay. Let me say something here. Right, Musa has been doing quite well in the MPFL for Kano Pillars. You know, so I give him kudos for coming back home. So rather than stay idle and doing nothing, he came back and is doing well with Kano Pillars. So in terms of representation, I think yes, I'm actually really okay with the names. You know, but when you said one person might not make it, I don't really think so. I think the Papa Daniel guy, Papa Daniel Mustafa is one guy people should look out for. He's already part of the Super Eagles team. I'll bet the B team, and he's one of the best central midfielders they have in that team. And I think when you look at the options we have in central midfield, when someone asks a question, who would you like to see in the list, even before the list was made public, Papa Daniel was somebody I mentioned simply because he has a fantastic left foot. His football brain, you know, is something I think people should look out for. So I know people have this negative thing about MPFL players, you know, but we've seen Stephen Keshi show us that it's possible to pick one or two persons and go do something, you know. So Papa Daniel is somebody that I have watched. I have seen him both for his club, Niger Tornadoes, and for the Super Eagles B team. He was one of those who helped us pass Ghana and then got back to Chan, you know. So he's really good, you know, as a midfielder. And I think when you look at that, the options we have in central midfield in Super Eagles, you know, I think he's one guy I feel could make the 23. You know, so don't be surprised if you see Papa Daniel in the 23-man squad. Don't be surprised, and that's simply because I believe we need more options. And like Joba was saying, I would gladly push out Al Hassan and for Mustafa Papa Daniel to play simply because Al Hassan, for instance, I don't think the MLS is just starting preseason and all that, you know, so he hasn't really played enough, and you can't continue to do that for our national team. I'm somebody who believes that our national team should be given to those who are playing consistently. It doesn't matter level. Yeah, it doesn't matter where they are playing, right? As long as they are playing consistently and doing well, because we don't have all the stars, you know, so as long as they are playing first level football and playing consistently, I just believe that they should. So for me, I'm okay with the MPFL representation and Papa Daniel. Just remember the name so that when you see him play, you'll be like, okay, maybe.
How old is he? How old is he?
I feel like that's a misleading. But fellow, let me add a bit of context to what Izu just said. Of course, Izu covers the MPFL, and obviously appreciates the talent of Papa Daniel and is saying it based on, as an analyst, what should be, right? But as someone that knows Nigeria, you are most likely to see Papa Wemba in that.
I was going to ask you, what is this he's saying about Papa Daniel? Does Eric Chelle know?
So see, Eric Chelle has third MPFL player. No, hold on. No, he did. It's true. He has been in some stadiums, right, to watch live games. And it might interest you to know that the first place he went to was to watch the Chan team, and Papa Daniel and co were in camp playing and training. So he watched them, he watched their friendlies, I don't think he just came out of the blues, just like that. So in terms of some of the games he had watched, Papa Daniel happened to be in one of those.
All right. Wish Papa Daniel the best. And by the time the final list comes out for Rwanda and Zimbabwe, we'll be here on Only Football to break it down again. So let us move on to another Nigerian discussion.
Okay.
This, I feel like, will really divide the room. In fact, but to discuss Victor Ikpeba's dilemma.
Why are you like this?
Speaking of Bet Nigerians, on the Home Talk podcast, he had this to say about Nigerian players in previous eras compared to now.
In my era, you have to know how to play football. In my era, not everybody was allowed to play football. So you have to play football, you have to have the talent, the passion, the quality to play football. In the last maybe 20 years, now most parents want to allow their kids to play football because there's money.
Yeah, okay.
That have changed. In those days, people were playing not just for the money, because of the passion and talent. I go back memory lane, the leagues we had in the 80s, 90s. Very, very competitive league in Nigeria. And the players that were playing the club side, they were good players. For you to be selected to be part of the Green Eagles or the Super Eagles, it just shows that
It's exceptional.
So I think quality-wise and talent, I think we have it more than this era.
Okay.
I don't think some of these guys in this era can play my era. And that's the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
Starting with disrespect.
Look, I don't know how to put my thoughts in a non-disrespectful way. So to give a lot of context, we have to defer to someone who I'm sure watched football pre-Ikpeba. Joba. So talk to us about this era Ikpeba speaks of.
First of all, I'm Team Millennial, so
You are literally a baby boomer.
I'm a 90s baby, so let's put it out there. But,
you mean you had your first baby in the 90s?
I'm a 90s baby, so let's put it out there. But anyways, I get where Victor Ikpeba is coming from. I think he's just expressing his mind and things he saw when he was playing. I wouldn't say no current Super Eagles player, because we try, we make it look like, Nigeria has always we've always this abundance of talent, you understand, Brazil quality and all that, which isn't true. I mean, I can count the number of world-class players that we like.
Talk about that 94 team, even to the bench, everybody
that we genuinely have. We are the 1994 team, the golden generation. Are they better than what we currently have? Yes, you understand. But I still think
even that is debatable to me.
I mean, because they won the Africa Cup of Nations and then they reached the second round playing good football. But I still think this current crop of players is probably as good, in terms of talent, is probably as good as they are probably as good as some of the guys that were in the 1994 squad. So while I understand where he's coming from, especially considering the fact that the diaspora players are now returning home to play for Nigeria and all that, I don't really agree. You're not going to tell me Gaba Lawa is better than someone like Alex Iwobi. No. I'm just I respect, but when people try to especially older players, they try to make it look like the modern day players can't be better than like the first.
Not even just players, just generally everything of
they
the
always
past
believe that
is
like
better to older people.
old is better than new, and I don't subscribe to that school of thought.
Ayoola, Victor Ikpeba said all these things that I don't want to repeat. To me, it sounds like just a old head that is
yeah, it's essentially the equivalent of one of your old uncles in the village saying, "Oh, back in my days, we fetched water and had to walk 5 miles to get to school. So you guys don't really appreciate."
I personally don't have any uncles in the village, but your reality.
So you guys don't appreciate what you have now. You are not as hardworking and talented as we were. I don't think that's the way to look at it. Because when you look at the eras, there are definitely pros and cons for each era. The older people, you would say, oh, the older people, this person was more talented. Everybody then was more talented than now. But if you then look at professionalism, is that still true? Are they as professional as the people who are playing football right now? It's very unlikely. Are they more prepared for games? Or were they rather more prepared for games? I mean, people then, you were probably watching your opponent for the first time when he's running at you. But now everybody knows everybody. They study these things. So it's a lot harder to prove yourself, to prove your talent. Because, again, how many people were pressing in the 90s? So you could turn, you could flick the ball, you could do all the skills that you wanted to do. But if you try that now, how many seconds do you have on the ball before someone comes and robs you of it? So it's a lot harder, especially in a system now where football is more tactical than it is technical.
Even beyond that, and here's where this is what I always try to mention, the 94 versus today conversion. How many players then were truly playing at the highest level of football compared to now? Like, this is not a matter of talent. Like, we know that talent-wise, that was probably our peak in terms of like, okay, what everybody could do with the ball, how they made people feel. Even that might be a product of being the past, because things were appreciated a lot more then, generally. Yeah. Now, there's a wider scope. The love for the national team is at an all-time low, and it's not necessarily a talent thing. So, in my opinion, Victor Ikpeba is capping. But and I use that very Gen Z phrase because I'm about to ask the most Gen Z man. Faruq, type shit. Hello, my fellow kids.
I mean, when he said, I laughed when he said footballers now they have money, so they don't have as much passion. We all know that Osimhen used to hawk Piota or whatever he said he used to hawk. And that's our best footballer. So
it's important to mention that Osimhen and Ikpeba also had their own
squabble.
I mean, let's not get into that.
But in fairness to okay.
No, I want to hear.
Osimhen is how old now?
26.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, our best footballer was a hustler. So I don't know if that's fair for you to say. There's also Victor Boniface, also one of our best. Yeah, and you also have to factor in the difficulties, the players that are coming from the diaspora.
Sorry to cut you, but I don't think that's what. Let me just clarify. I don't think that's what he meant with that point. He said in his time, not everybody was even allowed to play football. Lots of people are playing football now. Even your parents are encouraging you because there's money in football. So that's what he meant when he said there's money. He wasn't talking about.
If anything, I think that makes it harder because the talent pool is now so much wider.
Yeah, I mean,
that you have to be the best of the best. If you think of it in terms of in the past, not that many people were allowed. I mean, there were some people who were not allowed who could have been better than this, but now everybody's encouraged. So the level of talent has to be really, really high for you to make it. Even outside Nigeria.
So you've been very quiet about this. You don't want to disrespect him.
No, it's not like I don't want to disrespect him. There's No. One thing is, it's normal. It's normal for people like Ikpeba and Co.
And Karaga.
Yes, and Karaga.
To be clumsy.
Yes, to say things like this. For most of these people, they believe that because you slapped them in their pasts and they took it as inspiration, that these days you must be slapping everybody. So if you don't slap anybody, they cannot make it from the distance. But you posed a very important question, or should I say a point? What were they doing in the past? If you're talking about dancing, maybe you were a better dancer on the pitch, entertaining. good. There are a lot of people who believe that Okocha didn't do much. He didn't play for a top club and so on and so forth. But we do know that Okocha, in terms of his ability on the ball, his flair, was one of the greatest to come out of Africa, right? So maybe, compared to the past, we don't have so much flair. And that is also, like you said, due to how football has evolved. So what makes him think that a lot of them will probably survive with VAR?
Oh, because they keep talking about these players playing in their era.
Yes.
They are not talking about can they play in this era.
So I had an interview with Diego Forland, and he was talking about
just flex on us like that. Flex on. I spent my week talking to her. Now I follow it up.
No. I think it's a very good thing to use because I asked him about the Madrid derby, the difference. And he said something about how technology has made a lot of things a lot more important. And this also that in terms of dressing room atmosphere, the football on the pitch, that nothing has really changed that much. However, because of, he said something, people now have access. There's more access. It makes things a lot more difficult. So if you had a smaller sample space of people who could get into the sports, for example, now it's bigger. So it makes it really, really difficult. Not everybody can do this. So, but Volan told me that the technology and the innovations in football right now has made some of these games a lot more difficult, a lot more important in terms of, should I say, scope and what they mean. Do you get? So is the same thing. So Ikpeba is talking about his own experiences. Ikpeba has not experienced football now as a footballer. So anything he says now, he's saying based on his own experience. So perhaps in the next 10 years, a Boniface will tell somebody that you can't get into. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just him using his own. I can't fault him for it, because he's one of Nigeria's most celebrated stars. So he is allowed to use his experience to say what he wants. But I do believe there are a lot of Nigerian players now. I can mention a lot of them: Osimhen, Chusekon, Ola Aina, Ndidi. All of them, most of them can get it to. I mean, we grew up hearing about Peter Rufai, and these days when we watch some of the videos and then remember that we watched Vincent Enyama, and so nobody can come and tell me Rufai was better than Enyama. Rufai will probably come and tell you that during his days nobody can get into the team. Meanwhile, you can't bench Enyama if you played in Enyama's time.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think that first of all, ladies and gentlemen, that we handled that with more maturity than I expected. I personally thought that we would have destroyed the Ikpeba's legacy by now, but we did it. And shout out to Victor Ikpeba and to everybody involved. Very, very quickly, Faruq, Infantino is thinking about bringing the halftime show. In fact, it's confirmed that there will be an halftime show in the 2026 FIFA World Cup final. What say you? Quickly.
I mean, I welcome it. I'm not one of those football fans that shun innovation. Those of you that your reaction to it is, what if my team is losing? And you are an Arsenal fan. You've not played in a final you have not played in a final in years. Which final are you fantasizing about? No, on a more serious note.
I think people assume that it's just going to be every game. They only do this for like
just the big events. The big matches. On a more serious note, the bulk of people watching a football game are neutrals. It's not the team losing. Like they are, and they are not putting on the show for you. Huh?
Bulk of watching the World
Cup final.
Yeah, they are not like, it's not, if it's Brazil versus Argentina, the bulk of people watching it are not Brazilians or Argentines. And when they put on those shows, they are not putting it up for football fans. It is an avenue to attract people. I don't care about the NFL. I don't even know anybody in Philadelphia Eagles outside maybe Saquon Barkley and their handsome quarterback. Jalen Hurts, exactly. But I stayed up at night to watch the...
Hey, what are you doing your personal time? But technically, we have to move on because we are literally out of time. So sorry. But like, injury time, 30 seconds each, I nominate myself and Joba.
That sounds like a very dictator. Mobutu Sese Seko. Sorry. It's me.
yeah, beats me. But yeah, obviously. And there was a conversation about Nottingham Forest, advancing in the FA Cup and also having a chance to finish in the top 4 of the Premier League. So the conversation was happening online, and I wanted us to bring it here. If you're a Nottingham Forest fan, or just generally, which would you rather see? Them in the FA Cup, them as FA Cup winners, or as Premier League top 4 finisher, if you could only have one. So, Joba, you have 30 seconds. Go.
Definitely the Champions League, considering they've won the European Cup before and they've not played in the competition since 1980s. So to go back and play against the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid and all that, it's something exciting. Coming to City Ground, watching the likes of Mbappe, I mean, you are going to swap that for the FA Cup, definitely.
Fantastic. He did it in 24 seconds, which is great, I assume. Faruq, give me a countdown. Run
The system is already rigged. Why do you think? Why you like to do like you care about me timing you accurately? Anyway, I will time you. Let's go.
It must always be dramatic.
You have 30 seconds.
This is why we stay up at night doing things we don't need to know.
You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
All right, so yeah, obviously winning the FA Cup is huge for a club like Nottingham Forest. Trophies are normally I'm not even the trophy guy, but I would say that I only have a choice between the FA Cup and the Champions League place next season, I'll pick the FA Cup because it's not like Nottingham Forest are going to finish 10th. They are still going to Europe. Even Europa League is still Europe. So if you give me the FA Cup trophy and then a chance to play in the Europa League, I think that's going to make a fantastic, season for Nottingham Forest perspective and live longer in their memory.
Time has finished. Joba is the winner. Why?
How?
Joba is He beats you.
All right, so it's rigged against me. But it's fine. I'll round us up with a fun fact. So,
all right, so are you guys ready?
Just
put us to work.
He did not do his research. He did not do his research on us. How can I make these people do the work?
You see that even this requires some research. So the first question is pretty easy, I think.
So it's a question.
No, there are two questions.
Okay.
Not fun fact.
That's typically what trivia means.
So two questions. The first one, Manchester City striker Erling Haaland has scored against every English team he has played against except one.
Except one.
Yeah.
Plymouth.
Yeah. See?
Except
it's easy. Plymouth Argyle.
Okay.
Try to make sure you pronounce it correctly. Right after he pronounces it wrongly.
All right. So the second one is I want you to identify a player by some of his former teammates.
Okay.
So who am I? I've played with
Yourself.
Please, we are fasting. It's Lent and Ramadan, right, bro? Come on.
Right.
So who am I? I've played with Kuba Blaszczykowski, Gabriel Magalhaes, Kostas Manolas, and Axel Tuanzebe.
That is such a weird potpourri of ballers.
Blaszczykowski probably played with him at Dortmund.
Kostas Manolas.
Magalhaes played in Portugal for Sporting.
Chelsea, Benfica.
Liu.
Who? Is it the same Miranda?
No, Gabriel Magalhaes. Arsenal.
Tuanzebe, is he Belgian?
Tuanzebe, Man U.
United.
Man U.
He has only played for United.
Just give us his.
I'll keep adding one more player until you guys get to it.
Okay.
This person has also played with Ademola Lookman.
Yeah.
I mean, Lookman is a jolly man. This does not narrow it down in any sort of way.
I just tell us. It's fine.
One more.
Okay. His nationality. Tell us.
He has also... No, it would be too easy if I said nationality.
Okay.
This person has also played with David Ospina.
Alright, on that note...
You guys are going to be ashamed. You guys are going to be ashamed. All right. Since you guys are begging, the answer is Victor Osimhen.
Wait.
Let's round up.
I follow Blaszczykowski play.
Wolfsburg.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Didn't he have like AIDS? Malaria.
Yes, he did play for. He played for Wolfsburg.
You have to
And he played for Gabriel Magalhaes. He played with Gabriel Magalhaes, Leo, of course, Kostas Manolas, and Axel Tuanzebe, and David Ospina at Napoli, and Ademola Lookman. Where? the Super Eagles, guys.
Ghana.
Well, thank you very much. It was fun. I don't know if I needed all this stress to achieve the fun fact that's supposed to be literally under a minute. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Ayoola, thank you to Joba, thank you to Faruq, thank you to Izu, thank you to me, myself, and I. Thank you to Paul Sports for bringing this to you. And thank you most importantly to you, the viewers and listeners, for watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify. Thank you to the entire team. Thank you to the editor, Efe. Thank you to Kayode. Thank you to Victor. Thank you to Gospel. Thank you to Wale. Thank you to everybody that has a hand in bringing you this amazing production. Thank you to our carpenter. Please subscribe, like, share. If you by now, if you're enjoying it and you're not subscribed or you're not liked or you're not following, you're not sharing, you are the devil. And this is because of you are fasting. By the way, Ramadan Kareem to everybody that is fasting.
There's Lent also.
There's Lent
Also,
so shout out to everybody that does that as well. Happy International Women's Day, because this comes out on International Women's Day. So yeah, we love all the women.
So all the women,
We love all of you.
I love you, my wife.
On that note, Tunde Young signing out.